Hey, Retcon Raider here, and welcome back to episode 34 of my ongoing Let's Play Battle Brothers series. Here we are outside of Gronenberg, not to be confused with Gronenfest, where we've been hired to take care of this marauding band of greenskins. And for once, they weren't eagerly rushing into battle with us. We've actually had to pursue them a bit. It's a pretty big group of orcs, but fortunately our boys are all in pretty good shape. We've got most of our equipment repaired, and we've also finally expanded our ranks a little more. This here is Belfontaine, a former raider who decided he'd prefer to die in glorious battle rather than while fighting peasants. He was a bit pricey, but he came with 2 levels already under his belt, and he's got the Impatient perk, which allows him to always act first in battle. Plus, he's got some pretty solid star placements, 1 in melee and 2 in melee defense. Though those 2 stars in his ranged accuracy are a bit wasted since we'll be using him as a frontline combatant. But enough of that. We've got orcs to kill, so let's get to it. Now, this is a group of 15 orc young. It's a lot of enemies, but we've faced this sort of thing before, so our strategy stays pretty much the same. We'll be hanging back, allowing them to approach us while we soften them up with arrows. Speaking of which, Fox just netted the first kill. And then whoever survives our barrage of arrows will engage our frontliners. Though, Bunny just doled out our second kill, so these guys might not actually survive long enough to reach our front lines. Let's see if Potato and Mark can keep it up. There's a piercing chest wound. And Mark takes careful aim at the shielded orc. But he can't get past his shield. Oh well. 2 kills during our initial barrage is still pretty great. Now let's just get set up for contact. Alright, hold position. I meant to switch out to military picks before we engaged these guys, but since we're on spears, let's go ahead and set them to receive charges. I also meant to move Rondus and Janos back into their center line, but they'll do fine out on the edges. Rondus just got stunned. Now our archers are up. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they've got clear line of sight to any unshielded orcs, so we'll just have to start firing and hope we get lucky. Henry doles out a pierced leg muscle. Looks like just got stunned. These orcs seem intent on disabling our great weapon wielders. Mark fires a couple of arrows, manages to crush that orc young's trachea. Fox is up, so let's see what he can do. He finishes off the orc with the crushed windpipe, then softens up the heavily armored orc that was advancing behind him. Bunny follows up by further wearing down that armored orc. And now the rest of the young are moving in to engage, trying to get past our spear wall. Let's keep the spear wall set. It's worked so far. One of the orcs charged so enthusiastically that he pierced his face on our spears. And moving into round 3. The orcs continue throwing themselves into our spears. And now our archers get a chance to cut a few more of them down. Potato starts off with a quick kill. And unfortunately, he doesn't have any other ideal shots, though he still manages to land 2 hits. One of the orcs moves in and engages Rondis and Henry. Another one moves in and stuns Janos. And the others intently hurl themselves against Oswald's spear. Mark is up. He puts an arrow through one of the orcs' hands. Bunny fires into the orcs and breaks one of their morales. Another orc young leapfrogs over his brethren, moving to flank Henry. Fox further cripples the broken orc. Oswald continues warding off orc after orc, but one finally breaks through his defenses. And he rewards the orc by stabbing it a couple of times. Reinhard moves in to support, and finishes off the orc with a deft thrust of his dagger. Chiron moves up, engaging the broken orc, and finishing him off, then turning to his compatriot and putting a spear through his neck. And one last parting shot with his dagger as he plunges it through the orc's collarbone. Unfortunately, Chiron is also swiftly stunned. Igot moves up to support him, drawing his great axe. And he handily crushes the wounded orc. Vlad lashes his pike over Janos' shoulder, wounding the orc that Janos is fighting. Bunny fires past Henry, weakening the orc that's on him. Potato moves up and fires past Rondis, wounding another orc. At this point, we've pretty much won the fight. We just can't get careless. Igot manages to dole out a crippling wound on the orc he's engaged with. Rondis draws his greatsword and plunges it through his foe's chest, breaking his morale, and Henry swiftly finishes off that shattered orc. Fox steps up, finishes off a wounded orc, and another one. That leaves us with just 4 foes left on the field. The orc on Janos shield bashes him back and then begins fleeing towards the north edge of the battlefield. But Janos isn't about to let him get away that easily. He quickly re-engages him. Reinhard stabs his foe a couple of times, finishes him off with a deft strike. Vlad begins moving to support Janos, as does Mark. And Fox moves to support Chiron. Igot steps up, drawing his great axe again. And he fells one of the last orcs, leaving us with just 2 left on the field. Bunny sinks an arrow into Henry's opponent, draws her second quiver, and sinks another arrow into the orc. Fox readies his second quiver as well. But he's finally out of stamina. That's a rarity. The orc on Henry desperately smashes him in the head, stunning him, but he doesn't have time to flee. Rondis moves in, but his blow is parried by the orc's wicker shield. Chiron moves in and plunges his dagger into that stubborn orc's chest. as the rest of the brothers begin to descend upon him. I got moves around to box him in, breaking his morale, and puts him on death's doorstep with a quick dagger strike, which Fox quickly takes advantage of. Looks like Fox is up a level, he hits level 11, congratulations. And I Got This is up a level, he hits level 9. And MVP goes to Fox with a solid 5 kills. There's no significant loot here, but that'll still net us 1,000 or so gold, so we'll take it. Your employer, Count Gerald von Eisenstein, wanted you to slay the Greenskins, and you've done exactly that. Now it's time to check on the men and prepare a return to get your hard-earned pay. Back to Eisenwall. Well, like the narrative text said, let's get back to Eisenwall. We'll be right back. And welcome back. We still need to return to Eisenwall to collect our pay, but en route we encountered this small band of brigands who immediately took off in the other direction. It looks like a pretty simple fight, thugs, poachers, and a handful of raiders, so I thought this was a good opportunity to dive in and get some quick and easy XP. Plus it's a good chance to break in Bellefontaine, our latest recruit. Since we're going up against raiders here, I'm going to go ahead and swap out our usual spears for our head-smashing flails. That way we can take advantage of anyone who forgot to wear a helmet. And let's dive in. Man, I love that new art for the lindworm. We'll have to try hunting one of those things eventually. Alright, let's see here. This looks simple enough. I see a lot of light armor, a lot of unguarded heads. I don't think we're really going to need any fancy tactics for this one, so let's just start firing into their ranks and see who we can kill. And Wojtek doles out our first kill. The enemy poachers are stepping up and returning fire. Looks like they're focusing on Bellefontaine, of course. And that bold poacher is swiftly cut down by one of Potato's arrows. They're definitely focusing on Bellefontaine, but that's not surprising. As our lowest level frontliner, his defense scores probably make him the most tempting target. Looks like they're actually going on the defensive. That's a little surprising. Usually they only do that when they think they've got range superiority. But it's kind of hard to imagine them having range superiority with only 3 poachers on the field. But you know what? That's fine. That'll give our archers more time to thin out their numbers before our frontliners have to get their blades dirty. Moving into round 2. Looks like Alessandro's up first. He immediately drops one of the thugs and puts another arrow through the chest of one of the archers. An archer returns fire but can't get past Rondis' shield. Wojtek swiftly drops the injured poacher, then begins firing on another one. Undeterred, the last of the poachers steps up and pointlessly fires an arrow at our front lines. And Potato swiftly puts an arrow through his kneecap, breaking his morale, and the morale of the guy next to him. Our guys hold position, and it looks like the few surviving thugs and raiders are finally advancing on us. And round 3. Henry moves up, takes a shot but misses. Wojtek puts down their second-to-last poacher. And we'll start advancing on them now. Oswald moves up, smashes the nose of the lead brigand. Reinhard moves to engage another thug and raider. He swiftly kills the thug with a well-placed shot from his flail. Bellefontaine moves up to support him, breaking the morale of the raider. Potato takes the ear off of the other raider. Chiron moves up to engage the lead thug, crushes his skull with his flail, then moves to engage the raider and last remaining poacher. A thug moves up to engage Bellefontaine. Let's see how that works out for him. Well, he's immediately flanked by Rondis. Then Janos moves up to engage him as well. I'm going to say he's probably not going to do very well. Hey, and that one guy who ran away is coming back. Good for him. Woe moves up, doles out a bleeding wound, and the raider attempts to flee, swiftly getting beaten to death by Bellefontaine. That is Bellefontaine's first kill. Congratulations. And as an ex-raider, the fact that his first kill is a bandit raider really seems a bit poetic. Woe puts down another thug, and I just noticed the other thug decided not to return to the fight. He's running away again. And everyone else starts moving up to support Chiron. Though we will have some of our men chase down that last thug. Once we get to someone with a dog, we'll probably unleash a dog on that thug. The thug is already pretty badly wounded, so a war dog will almost certainly be able to finish him off. Let's see, Rondis will move up to engage this last poacher. He takes out his flimsy armor with a dagger shot. Chiron crushes his nose, and then finishes him off with his dagger. Oh, right. I forgot to let the dogs out. Well, I guess that thug will get to live. I guess he can spread the word of the Retcon Raiders. Henry drops the last of the Brigand Raiders. And I guess we'll at least make a token effort to see if we can catch up with this thug. In fact, it's probably not too late to hit him with a dog. Let's see who we've got coming up here. Yeah, Reinhard has a dog. His dog is named Runner, so let's get Runner out there. Runner immediately pinned down the thug. Now everyone else has a chance to catch up with him. Let's double up on dogs. Janos will unleash Jaeger. And we'll keep moving everyone else up, but honestly, those dogs will probably kill that thug before anyone can get in there. And there he goes. The dogs tear him to pieces. Oswald's up to level 8. And it looks like MVP goes to Wojtek with 3 kills. And once again, the loot's nothing to write home about, but we'll grab the more valuable pieces and get back to Eisenwall. And welcome back again. We turned in our quest at Eisenwall, collected our pay, and unfortunately they didn't have any more jobs for us. I decided to start pushing towards New Farn, but on the way there we spotted this pack of Noxerer, We pursued them out into the plains, and we've also spotted an orc stronghold, so I figure we'll go ahead and wipe them both out for some more quick experience. We've still got Belfontaine in the front lines, so this should hopefully give him enough experience points to hit level 4. Alright, so we're up against 12 Noxerer. I only see 3 medium Noxerer, the rest are small. This should be a quick and easy battle. We'll start off by softening up some of the Noxerer. We don't want to kill them just yet, not until we can actually... Oops. Well, scratch that. Fox jumped the gun and killed one of the Noxerer with his legendary bow. In fact, he just killed 2. I guess we'll just go ahead and start cutting them down left and right, and we're going to need to advance quickly to try to block them from eating those corpses. I guess sometimes our archers are just too lethal for their own good. Casimir leads the charge. Reinhard follows shortly behind him, crushing fingers with his flail. Chiron moves up to lock down 2. And Rondus quickly joins him, breaking the morale of one of the smaller Noxerer, before he puts his dagger through its face. Janos moves up to engage another Noxerer. Belfontaine moves up next to Casimir and lays into this Noxerer. Woe steps up to back them up, but can't land a hit. Henry moves up to support Chiron and Rondus. And round 2, the Noxerer get a chance to do a little damage in return. So far so good. I'm not seeing any devoured corpses out there. There's a light ding to Janos' helmet. A light ding to Chiron's armor. A light ding to Reinhard's armor. And Alessandro drops one of the Noxerer, then puts an arrow through another one's arm. Bunny takes off a Noxerer's ear. Then Wojtek finishes it off. Henry plunges the banner through a Noxerer's gut. Fox puts down one Noxerer, then cripples a second Noxerer, and... whoops. Sorry, Rondus. That was totally an accident. Woe finishes off another Noxerer, then puts his jagged pike through a second Noxerer's neck. Belfontaine boldly advances, but can't land a hit. Reinhard moves up, finishes off another smaller Noxerer, leaving us with just 5 on the battlefield, 3 of whom are broken. Rondus takes a great swing, but only kills 1 target. Then he swiftly follows through by killing a second one. Chiron smashes the nose of the second medium Noxerer. Janos draws his great hammer, but he can't quite land a hit on his agile opponent. And moving it around 3, the Noxerer get another chance to fight back. 1 minor hit on Chiron, nothing to worry about. Wojtek steps up and puts an arrow through the medium Noxerer's hand. Bunny moves up to elevated position. Alessandro steps up but can't get a line of sight. Henry fells the badly wounded medium Noxerer, and then the final small Noxerer. That leaves us with just 1 more opponent to crush. Casimir doles out a nasty hit. Woe plunges his jagged pike through the Noxerer's leg. And Belfontaine, can you get the final kill? Nope, unfortunately he does not land the hit. and Reinhard quickly takes advantage of that. Looks like Fox pulls MVP, and we get a handful of teeth as our reward. Yay. Let's go ahead and shuffle our line a bit, and then we will take on the Hermit's Cottage there. And we're back. Looks like we've still got a few minutes on the clock, so that should be just enough time to kick over this Hermit's Cottage. Six Orc Young? Yeah. This should take us 3-4 minutes tops. Fox starts us off by putting an arrow through the lead Orc Young's neck. Bunny puts an arrow through his chest. And Potato finally drops him. Before knocking all the armor off of another Orc. Mark doesn't have a great shot here, so we'll hold off with him. The rest of the Orcs advance. We'll hold for the moment, but I am tempted to move up and engage them immediately. But first, Mark will push this Orc to the brink of death. That Orc's got multiple crippling wounds, and his morale is broken, so let's just push into round 2. Fox finishes off the badly wounded Orc, then takes the ear off of the first Orc that engaged our front line. Another Orc rushes our line, stunning Janos. Vlad plunges his pike through that Orc's shoulder. Then Dominic quickly follows up by beating him down with his military pick. Mark puts an arrow through one of the last Orc's faces. Reinhard starts circling wide. Ooh, and immediately gets engaged by that wounded Orc. Potato drops the last Orc on our line. Puts 2 more arrows into this other Orc's shield. Chiron swiftly steps up and knocks his armor off. Rondus moves in behind him and uses his greatsword to slice open the Orc's ribs. Henry moves up to support. Vlad starts moving to support. And round 3. Bunny steps in, fires through the ranks, and finishes off the second to last Orc. That leaves us with just one badly wounded Orc left, so whoever gets the next shot at it will probably finish it off. No level ups, and looks like Fox gets MVP. Oh, but he's tied with Potato. And the loot's about as mediocre as you'd expect, but we'll take it all. It wasn't much of a fight, and we didn't get much of a reward, but the important thing is it puts us one step closer to finishing this ambition. Now let's get back towards New Farn, and we'll pick up there next time. Hey, Retcon Raider here. Another pretty straightforward episode today. The Retcon Raiders took down a few small packs of greenskins and brigands, but there haven't been any more signs of Orc hordes or war parties. We're bound to start seeing them sooner or later, so we're going to have to stay on our guard. But for now, I think we'll keep focusing on training our men and improving our equipment. Speaking of which, we've built up a pretty decent stack of gold at this point, so my current plan is to head to New Farn. It's been a while since we passed through that area, but if I recall correctly, that's one of the few towns with a Fletcher, meaning that we might be able to purchase some new war bows for our archers. The hunting bows have served us well so far, but war bows are the best non-unique bows in the game. They ignore a bit more armor and inflict about 10 more damage per shot, which will really help our archers against more heavily armored foes. Given how many injuries we've been racking up lately, I think it's also about time to pick up another new recruit to help fill out our reserves, so I'll be keeping an eye out as we pass through other towns on our way to New Farn. If I spot any promising and reasonably affordable new recruits, then I might just end up hiring them. But for now, this is Retcon Raider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Battle Brothers, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website or the fan-run wiki. Links are in the description.